She thought bringing new life into the world would finally heal the cracks in her marriage. But inside that hospital room, a devastating secret unraveled. A secret so dangerous it would end in gunfire. We're diving into the shocking case of a police officer who turned the maternity ward into a crime scene after overhearing a single phone call. This is a story of love, betrayal, and a tragedy no one saw coming. This is True Crime's Altar, where every sin is punished, every betrayal has a cost, and every soul must answer to the truth. Like, comment, and subscribe, because these are the stories the guilty prayed would stay buried. Leonard Graves never imagined that at 41 years old he would feel such unshakable joy. On the morning Monica shared the news, it seemed as though the entire world shifted into brighter hues. He stood frozen in their cozy kitchen, still wearing his patrol uniform after an overnight shift, holding a pregnancy test streaked with 2 pink lines. His mind struggled to process what his eyes confirmed. "I took 3 of them, just to be sure," Monica whispered, her dark eyes brimming with tears. "Every one came back positive, Len. We're going to be parents." He dropped to his knees in front of her, pressing his face gently against her belly where their miracle was beginning to grow. Their child, the one they had prayed for through 5 long years of heartbreak and dashed hopes. His voice quivered when he whispered, "I love you. I'll be the best father I can. I'll protect both of you with everything I've got." Monica stroked his head, smiling through tears of her own. She looked genuinely happy, but Leonard thought he caught a flicker of something else in her gaze, unease, maybe even guilt. He dismissed it instantly, too overwhelmed with excitement to dwell. Surely it was nothing more than nerves or the weight of new responsibilities. After all, they had waited so long, nearly given up believing this day would ever come. The following weeks, Leonard moved through life in a daze of pride. At the Brookhaven Police Department, his colleagues slapped him on the back, congratulated him, teased that he had finally hit the target. He laughed with them, unfazed. He was bursting with anticipation. At home, he pored over books about pregnancy, joined online forums for expectant fathers, made endless lists of things they would need. "You're acting like no man has ever had a child before," Monica joked when he brought home yet another thick parenting manual. "I just want to be ready," he replied, kissing her forehead. "I want to know everything that might help us." She leaned into him, but there was a desperate cling in her embrace he chalked up to hormones. That's what every book said. Pregnancy made women emotional. With each passing month, Monica's stomach grew rounder, and Leonard was mesmerized by her transformation. She seemed to glow from within, though at times when she thought he wasn't looking, her face would harden into a mix of anxiety and determination. The moment he spoke, though, her smile returned, and she joined him in dreaming aloud about their future with the baby. At 4 months, the ultrasound revealed they were having a boy. Leonard couldn't hold back tears when the doctor pointed at the tiny flicker of a heartbeat on the screen. "Congratulations, you're having a son." "I want to call him Caleb," Leonard said on the drive home. "After my grandfather." Monica hesitated before suggesting, maybe something more modern, like Jordan or Zion? But Leonard's heart was set. Eventually, she agreed. Strangely, it felt off. She had always spoken warmly of his grandfather, even once saying she'd love to name their child after him. He didn't think much of it at the time. In her 5th month, Monica began working late more often at the beauty salon she managed downtown. She explained it away as needing to save up before the baby arrived. Leonard believed her without question. He always trusted her. "I'll take more overtime," he told her one evening when she stumbled in close to midnight, looking worn out. "You need rest. Think about the baby." "I'm fine," she replied quickly, avoiding his eyes. "I like staying busy. It makes the time go faster." Leonard swallowed the uneasiness that crept up inside. Of course she was just nervous, he reassured himself. Of course she wanted to contribute while she could. Monica had always been independent. That was one of the things that had first drawn him to her. The 6th, 7th, and 8th months sped by in a blur of preparation. They painted the nursery soft sky blue, assembled a crib, set up a monitor, and Leonard even crafted a mobile of little stars and planets to hang above the bed. Monica sewed bedding, knit tiny socks, and a cap. "You'll be such a good mother," Leonard told her one evening as they sat together, admiring the finished nursery. Monica turned away, a tear sliding down her cheek. "What's wrong?" he asked gently, pulling her into his arms. "Nothing," she said quickly, wiping her face. "Just hormones. I'm happy, really. Sometimes I wonder if I'll be good enough, if I can do it." "You'll be the best," Leonard reassured her, kissing the top of her head. "We'll be the happiest family in all of Brookhaven." She didn't respond, only clung to him tighter. As the due date drew near, Leonard's nerves twisted tighter each day. He practiced the hospital route until he could drive it blindfolded. His coworkers teased that he looked more tense than during raids on armed suspects, but he never denied it. Nothing mattered more to him than this woman and the son she carried. Labor began in the middle of the night, 1 week early. Leonard jolted awake to Monica's soft moans and instantly knew. His heart thundered as he flipped on the light and saw the fear in her eyes. "It's starting," she whispered. He swallowed his own panic. "It's okay. I'm here. We'll get through this." He helped her dress, grabbed the hospital bag, and ushered her into the car. His hands trembled so badly he dropped the keys twice before starting the engine. The drive to St. Mary's felt endless, every sound Monica made echoing inside his chest like a cry for help. A nurse met them in the emergency entrance, rushing Monica through paperwork before calling the doctor. Moments later, Dr. Karen Whitfield appeared, tall with graying hair, sharp eyes softened by weariness. "First time?" she asked, shaking Leonard's hand. "Yes," he admitted, his throat dry. "Don't worry, we'll take good care of her," she assured him with a professional smile. Monica was wheeled away, and Leonard was told to wait outside. He sat down in the hard chair, praying silently, pacing the halls, checking his phone, though no one would call. Everyone who mattered was beyond those doors. Hours dragged on. At one point, desperate for calm, Leonard stepped out into the courtyard and lit a cigarette, an old vice he had abandoned the day Monica told him she was pregnant. Back inside, the hallway was empty. He leaned his head against the wall, whispering to himself that soon it would all be over. Soon he would hold his son. Then he heard it, voices, hushed but urgent, drifting from Monica's half-open room. He hadn't meant to eavesdrop, but something in her tone, strained, trembling, pulled him closer. His breath caught when he heard her say, 5,000. "I'll pay you 5,000, Karen. That should be enough." Dr. Whitfield's voice rose in alarm. "Monica, do you understand what you're asking? It's illegal. I could lose my license." "Please," Monica pleaded, her voice shaking. "Just tell him the baby didn't make it. Say there were complications, that he couldn't breathe, anything. He won't ask questions." Leonard's body went cold. He gripped the doorframe to steady himself. "Dead baby? Why would she ask the doctor to lie? What do you plan to do with the child?" Dr. Whitfield asked. "He's healthy. Perfectly healthy." Monica's tone hardened. "My cousin in Atlanta will take him. She's always wanted a baby. She'll raise him as her own." "You can't just give your baby away," the doctor objected. "You saw him, Karen. You saw his skin. He doesn't look like Leonard. He'll never accept him. He'll kill me if he finds out." Those words tore through Leonard like glass. His chest tightened, his vision blurred. The baby wasn't his. 9 months of anticipation, of loving her through every step, betrayal had been there all along. He had been preparing to be a father to a child who belonged to another man. She was planning to let him believe his son had died, only to hand him off to someone else. Rage surged hot and uncontrollable, drowning him. 15 years of marriage, of loyalty, of trust, and this was what he received in return. His hand moved instinctively to the holster at his side. He didn't even realize he had pushed the door open until Monica and Dr. Whitfield turned toward him, their faces frozen in horror. "Lynn," Monica's face drained of color. "Baby, I can explain." His voice came low, ragged, almost unrecognizable to himself. "Where's the baby? I want to see him." Dr. Whitfield stepped forward, blocking Monica with her body. Officer Graves, please calm down. There were complications. The cord was wrapped around his neck. We did everything we could. Don't lie to me, Leonard roared, his lips trembling. I heard it all. He's alive, and I want to see him. Monica broke down, covering her face with her hands. I'm sorry, Len. I didn't mean to deceive you. I was terrified. I knew you wouldn't accept him if you knew the truth. Whose child is he? Leonard demanded, his voice cracking. Tell me, Monica. Whose? She sobbed harder, unable to answer. Dr. Whitfield's expression stiffened. Officer Graves, I must ask you to leave. Your wife has been through a difficult delivery and she needs rest. I'm not leaving until I see my son, he growled. The baby's in the nursery, alive, and she was paying you to lie. Dr. Whitfield faltered, fear flickering across her face. Monica reached out with trembling hands. Let's talk, Leonard. Please. I know I should have told you sooner. I was afraid of losing you. 5 years, he whispered, his voice breaking. 5 years we tried for a child, and all this time you knew. It was one night, she choked. I was drunk. It meant nothing. I didn't know until later, and you were so happy. I couldn't take that away. Take away? Leonard let out a bitter laugh. You didn't take anything away, Monica. You destroyed everything. You were going to tell me my son was dead just to hide what you'd done. His hand drifted back to his weapon. I was scared, she sobbed. I knew you'd never forgive me. I knew you couldn't love a child that wasn't yours. You left me no choice, Leonard said softly, his eyes filling with tears. 5 years, Monica. We prayed for this. I would have loved him as my own. All you had to do was tell me the truth. He drew his gun. Dr. Whitfield screamed, pressing herself against the wall. Monica froze on the bed, her eyes wide with terror. Leonard, please, she whispered. Put it down. We can fix this. We can fix it. His voice was calm now, eerily calm. How do you fix 9 months of lies? How do you fix taking away my chance to be a father, even if he wasn't mine? Monica's tears streamed as she reached for him. I love you, Leonard. I've only ever loved you. And I love you, he said, tears sliding down his face. More than anything. More than life. His hand didn't shake. His face was empty, as though someone else guided his actions. Don't, Monica begged. Think of the baby. He's innocent. I know, Leonard whispered. But you broke me, Monica. You ruined everything. The shot cracked through the room, deafening. Monica gasped, her eyes widening in shock as crimson spread across her hospital gown. Dr. Whitfield screamed, collapsing against the wall. Leonard slowly lowered the gun, staring at what he had done. His face showed no shock, no guilt, only exhaustion. Call the police, he said evenly to Dr. Whitfield, holstering the weapon. Tell them Officer Leonard Graves shot his wife. I'll be waiting. He sank into the chair beside the bed, covering his face with his hands, as the sound of rushing footsteps filled the hall. Sirens wailed in the distance, closing in. Red and blue lights splashed across the windows of St. Mary's as patrol cars screeched to a stop at the entrance. A dark, unmarked sedan pulled up last. Out stepped Detective Lionel Graves, tall and broad-shouldered, his close-cut hair already streaked with gray despite being only 38. Years of homicide cases had carved deep lines around his eyes. What do we have? He asked the young officer waiting by the door. It's Officer Graves, sir. He shot his wife in the maternity ward. He called it in himself, said he'd wait for us. Lionel's chest tightened. He knew Leonard Graves, though not closely, enough to know he was considered a solid cop, dependable family man. What could have pushed him to something like this? Any witnesses? Lionel pressed. Yes, sir. Dr. Karen Whitfield. She was in the room when it happened. Other casualties? Just his wife. Medics confirmed her death. Lionel exhaled and pushed inside. The hospital lobby was chaos, staff whispering in shock, patients peeking nervously from their doors, security trying to clear the halls. Shootings in a hospital were rare, even for a city cop. On the third floor, Captain Walter Briggs, a heavy-set man in his 50s with a perpetual scowl, was waiting. Perfect start to the morning, he muttered. One of our own kills his wife. The press will eat us alive. I'll take it from here, Lionel said calmly. What do we know about motive? Nothing yet. Leonard won't talk to anyone but you. Lionel frowned. They weren't close. Why him? Where is he? Next room over. Under guard. But check the scene first. The maternity ward was taped off, crime scene techs already working. Lionel suited up in gloves and boot covers before stepping inside. Monica lay on the bed, her face pale, her lips parted as though still forming her last plea. A single bullet through the heart. Her gown soaked in red. No signs of struggle, no attempt to flee. Just shock and betrayal in her still features. The medical examiner scribbled notes without looking up. Gunshot wound straight to the heart. Death was instantaneous. Estimated time around 3:15 a.m. Weapon, his service pistol. Lionel scanned the room carefully. Everything was neat. Too neat. This wasn't rage spilling over in chaos. It was deliberate, final. He stepped back into the hallway where Briggs waited. I need Dr. Whitfield, Lionel said. She's shaken butt in her office, Briggs replied. Lionel found the doctor curled on a couch, arms wrapped around herself. She flinched when he introduced himself. I need you to walk me through it. Everything, from the start. Dr. Whitfield's hands trembled as she adjusted her glasses. Mrs. Graves came in just after midnight. First labor. Her husband waited outside. The delivery went smoothly. A healthy baby boy, 3.5 kilos. She paused, her eyes glazing as if replaying it all. And then? Lionel prompted gently. He stormed in, furious. He demanded to see the child. I told him the baby was in the nursery being checked, but he accused his wife of infidelity, started shouting. And then, he shot her. Lionel studied her face. Something didn't sit right. Doctor, why would he believe she cheated? Did he overhear anything between you and Mrs. Graves? Her gaze faltered. No, just medical talk. Nothing unusual. She was lying. He could see it, but pressing her now would be useless. One more thing, the child. You said healthy? Yes. She nodded quickly. He's in pediatrics under observation. Lionel rose. Take me. In the newborn ward, tiny bundles slept in incubators. Dr. Whitfield pointed to the last one. Lionel stepped closer and his heart dropped. The baby was clearly mixed race, light brown skin, curls soft against his head. Leonard and Monica were both dark-skinned. There was no mistaking the truth. I see, Lionel said quietly. Now the motive makes sense. Dr. Whitfield lowered her head. Detective, it's complicated. Murder always is, Lionel snapped. But justice isn't. If you're hiding something, I'll find it. Leaving her behind, Lionel approached the guarded room. Two officers shifted uneasily, uncomfortable standing watch over a colleague. I'll handle him alone, Lionel said. They nodded. Inside, Leonard sat slumped on the hospital bed, hands free. No cuffs, an unwritten courtesy among police. His eyes were empty, stripped of anger, fear, even life. Only exhaustion remained. Leonard, Lionel said softly. His cousin looked up, voice rough. Thanks for coming. I couldn't talk to anyone else. I'm here. Tell me what happened. Leonard dragged a hand down his face. I killed her. I'm not denying it. Why? Lionel asked, sitting across from him. She betrayed me, Leonard whispered, the pain cracking through at last. 5 years we tried. 5 years of heartbreak. Then she got pregnant, and I thought I was the luckiest man alive. For 9 months, I lived for that child. And then I heard her offering to pay the doctor to say the baby was stillborn. Because he wasn't mine. She cheated, Lionel, and she was going to lie to me again. Lionel stayed quiet, letting him speak. I don't know what came over me. Something inside just broke. I didn't plan it. I didn't even think. I just couldn't breathe. Do you know who the father is? Lionel asked. Leonard shook his head. No, but he's light-skinned. Has to be someone from her work. She ran that salon on Main Street. Lionel made a note. You understand what you're facing, right? This is first-degree murder. I know, Leonard said wearily. I'll take whatever comes. I just want the truth to be known. When Lionel stepped back into the hall, Briggs and several officers were waiting. Well? Briggs demanded. He confessed, Lionel said flatly. She cheated. The baby isn't his. She was going to lie and give the child away. Officers exchanged looks, sympathy etched across their faces. No wonder, one muttered. Careful, Lionel snapped. She's still a victim. Come on, Graves, Officer Jamal Price said quietly. You saw the baby. She lied for months. Any man would have lost it. Doesn't excuse murder, Lionel shot back. Briggs intervened. No one's excusing it. But Leonard served 15 years with a spotless record. Family man. We can frame this as a crime of passion. Heat of the moment. That could mean a lighter sentence. Lionel bristled. I'll follow the evidence. Nothing more. Jamal stepped closer, his tone edged with warning. He's one of us. He deserves support. The best support I can give him, Lionel replied coldly, is the truth. He turned his back on their stares and walked toward the elevators. He knew pressure was only beginning. But justice had to cut the same way for everyone, even if the killer wore a badge. Outside, he sat in his car, the weight of the case heavy in his chest. Velour Essence. Monica's salon. That was where the next answers lay. Before he could drive off, his phone buzzed. Captain Briggs. Listen carefully, Briggs said, voice taut. I know you're a man of principle, but this case touches one of our own. Don't dig too deep. For everyone's sake. Lionel's jaw clenched. Was that a threat, Captain? Advice, Briggs replied smoothly. Think about your career. I'm thinking about justice, Lionel snapped and hung up. He knew he'd just made himself a target, but Monica Graves deserved the truth. And so did the baby who had lost his mother before he'd even opened his eyes. Velour Essence sat tucked inside a strip plaza in central Brookhaven, its glass doors glowing with warm light despite the early hour. When Detective Lionel Graves stepped inside, the soft chime of the bell drew curious glances from the stylist and their clients. A tall young woman at the front desk straightened quickly. Her badge read Tanya Rivers, manager. Lionel flashed his credentials. Detective Graves, Brookhaven PD. I need to speak with the manager and Mrs. Graves' co-workers. At the sound of Monica's name, a ripple of whispers stirred the room. News traveled fast in small towns, and it was clear the tragedy had already reached them. Tanya paled, but kept her composure. Of course, Detective. Please, come to the office. I'll get Miss Crowell. Moments later, Lionel sat across from salon owner Vanessa Crowell, a heavy-set woman in her 50s with auburn curls, and Tanya, still visibly shaken. Vanessa dabbed her eyes with a tissue. This is a nightmare. Monica was wonderful. Clients adored her. We all did. How long had she worked here? Lionel asked. For years, Vanessa said. Started as administrator, became indispensable. You were aware she was pregnant? Yes, she was thrilled. She and her husband had been trying a long time. Lionel leaned forward slightly. Did she have any personal entanglements here? Anything beyond friendship with staff or clients? Vanessa and Tanya exchanged a loaded glance. Detective, Vanessa began cautiously. I don't want to speak ill of the dead. I don't need gossip, Lionel cut in firmly. I need truth. Monica is gone. Her child is motherless. Tell me what I should know. Tanya drew a deep breath, her voice steady despite her trembling hands. Elliot Vaughn. He worked here last year as a massage therapist. He and Monica, they had an affair. Lionel stayed silent, urging her to continue. It lasted a few months. He's light-skinned, handsome, charming. All the women noticed him, but he only ever had eyes for Monica. They tried to be discreet, but this place isn't big. Secrets don't stay hidden long. Did her husband know? Lionel asked. Vanessa shook her head quickly. I doubt it. Leonard sometimes stopped by, doting, always affectionate. She never wanted him to find out. And Vaughn? Where is he now? He left 8 months ago, Vanessa replied. Opened his own studio across town. Serenity Touch. Lionel's notes lined up with the timeline. And after he left, did they keep in contact? Tanya shrugged. Maybe a few calls. But when Monica realized she was pregnant, she was terrified. I once found her crying in the restroom. When I asked why, she said she didn't know who the father was. I didn't press her. You didn't think to tell her husband? Lionel asked. Tanya's eyes sharpened. That wasn't my place. I wasn't going to destroy her family. And yet, it's destroyed anyway, Lionel murmured. Both women fell silent, heads lowered. I'll need Vaughn's studio address, Lionel said, rising. And if anything else comes to mind, call me. The Serenity Touch studio sat in a quiet neighborhood on the city's edge, its windows tinted, a neon sign glowing faintly. Lionel parked across the street and watched. Women trickled in, clearly clients. 20 minutes later, he decided waiting was pointless and stepped inside. The dim lobby smelled of lavender, soft music floating in the air. A tall, athletic man emerged to greet him. Light-skinned, attractive, with an easy smile, Elliot Vaughn. Welcome to Serenity Touch. How can I help you? Lionel showed his badge. Detective Graves. We need to talk about Monica Graves. Elliot's smile vanished. He glanced at a closed office door behind him. I have a client waiting. This won't wait, Lionel said firmly. After a tense pause, Elliot led him to a small office. He sat stiffly, fingers tapping nervously against the desk. Do you know what happened? Lionel asked. Elliot nodded slowly. Yes. Her husband shot her after she gave birth. I heard this morning. It's awful. Did you know the child was yours? Lionel asked bluntly. Elliot's head snapped up, eyes wide. What? No. I didn't know she was pregnant. We ended things months ago. But you were intimate. Elliot's shoulders slumped. Yes. We were together for a while. But she never told me. I swear. Lionel's gaze stayed locked on him. The baby is mixed race. Leonard knew immediately. You're the only possible father. Elliot paled, shock scrawled across his face. God, I didn't know. If I had, I would have done something. She should have told me. Why didn't she? Lionel asked. Elliot swallowed hard. She was afraid. Her husband's a cop. Jealous. Controlling. They'd been trying for years to have a baby. How could she admit the truth? So you walked away without looking back? Lionel pressed. Elliot flinched. Detective, I'm not proud of what we did. But I didn't know she was carrying my child. Lionel studied him. He seemed genuinely shaken, his regret heavy. What happens to him now? Elliot asked softly. The boy? He's really mine? A DNA test will confirm it, but yes, Lionel said. For now, he's under hospital care. Social services will decide his future. Elliot's expression turned distant, haunted. Maybe I should step up, claim him. Then contact social services, Lionel replied evenly. But first, take the test. Lionel left the studio with the missing pieces falling into place. Monica had been unfaithful, terrified of exposure, willing to weave a desperate lie. Now he needed one more confession from Dr. Whitfield, who had evaded the truth. Back at St. Mary's, Lionel requested Dr. Whitfield meet him in a quiet room. She entered looking drained, guilt written all over her face. She didn't wait for his questions. "I wasn't fully honest earlier. I was afraid you'd think I was complicit." "Then tell me the truth now," Lionel said evenly. She exhaled slowly. "Monica offered me $5,000 to lie to her husband. She wanted me to say the baby was stillborn. She planned to send him to her cousin in Atlanta. She said Leonard would never accept a child who wasn't his. And you?" "I refused," she said firmly. "I told her it was wrong. We argued. That's when Leonard walked in. I could see he'd heard. He demanded the baby. I panicked and tried to back Monica's story, told him the baby had died. He didn't believe me. He said he'd heard everything. Monica tried to explain, said it was just one mistake, one night. Then he shot her, just like that. He didn't run. He didn't fight." Lionel nodded grimly. "You'll need to give a full statement, likely testify." "I understand," she whispered. At the station, Captain Briggs pounced the moment Lionel walked in. "Well, you get your answers?" "Yes," Lionel said. "It's clear. Leonard killed his wife after learning the child wasn't his. Elliot Vaughn is the biological father. Dr. Whitfield confirmed Monica tried to bribe her to hide it." Briggs' expression lightened with relief. "Good. Then we'll frame it as a crime of passion. Mitigating circumstances. He served 15 years without a blemish. He doesn't deserve to rot in prison." Lionel kept his voice neutral. "That's for the court to decide." 3 months later, Leonard Graves' trial drew reporters, officers, and townsfolk alike. Lionel testified, presenting the facts without bias. Dr. Whitfield recounted the bribery attempt. Elliot Vaughn admitted to the affair, his paternity confirmed by DNA. Leonard's attorney leaned hard on his spotless record, his emotional collapse, the fact he turned himself in. After just 4 hours, the jury returned, guilty of manslaughter in the heat of passion. The judge, citing Leonard's service, remorse, and cooperation, gave a shocking sentence of 5-year suspension, probation, and mandatory counseling. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Leonard looked stunned, as though he'd expected chains, not freedom. After the verdict, Lionel asked him quietly, "What now?" Leonard's voice was hollow. "I don't know. I deserved prison. I was ready for it." "What about the child?" Lionel asked. "Vaughn hasn't filed yet. He's still in the system." Something flickered in Leonard's tired eyes. "The boy, is he healthy?" "Yes. He's in foster care for now," Lionel said. 3 days later, Leonard stood over a crib in the orphanage. The baby lay there, tiny fists reaching for the air. His features echoed Monica's, but his skin tone and curls carried Vaughn's blood. Leonard extended a finger, and the baby gripped it tightly. Then, unexpectedly, the child smiled. Reflex or not, it shattered something inside Leonard and rebuilt it all at once. Tears stung his eyes as he whispered, "Maybe I can still be what you need." For the first time in months, he felt something other than grief. Hope. Quiet, fragile, but alive. The child's small hand clutched his finger as if unwilling to let go. And Leonard realized he didn't want to let go either. Not now. Maybe never. What do you think about this case? Do you believe the court was too lenient, or do you think justice was served? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more true crime stories and tell us where you're watching from. We'd love to know.